Correct. You know, I'm a 45-year-old space nerd.
Each and every one of us is a crew member here on Spaceship Earth.
The Galactic Guys, John Ennis and Mighty Mike Taylor.
There is a space-age quality to them.
This is the Galactic Coast Power Hour on Vinyl Draft Radio.
That is right. This is the Galactic Coast Power Hour, and we are coming to you live from the ACU of Texas studio on the top floor of the historic Gemini building, just down the street from Mission Control and the home of human spaceflight. My name is John Ennis, and I'm joined by my brother in brew, Mighty Mike Taylor.
Yo, yo.
And our sister in brew, Sylvia, for Trade mobile app, Benvenidas.
Hello, hello.
But enough about us. We are pumped to have the region's newest and maybe one of the oldest breweries on the show tonight as we welcome the lads from Brigadoon Brewery into the studio. That's Alan Ward and Brad Rogers. Hey, fellas, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us out.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, man.
Well,
Glad to be here.
Awesome. So we kind of tease you as one of the newest because you just opened a tap room in Pasadena.
Right.
But also one of the oldest because you've been in the brewing game for a while. A lot of people are probably familiar with the brand and some of your offerings. Do you want to talk a little bit about the history of the Brigadoon Brewery?
Sure. It's our 10th year. We'll celebrate it this October. It seems like just the other day.
Nice.
Yeah. It seemed like just the other day we started brewing. So let's be our 10th year at the Texas Renaissance Festival. We just opened a place in Pasadena up. We're getting that kind of tweaked in a little bit here and there. Brigadoon started with a concept by my wife that said, hey, your home brewing has got out of control. You should either go pro or back off.
Popular theme, yeah.
Started gathering so many different little apparatuses that it started taking over the house. Yeah,
Apparati?
Apparati.
Kids are going.
I've never heard that story before. But what I'm curious about is now the name.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name? What is it in reference to? There's several definitions of the word Brigadoon.
Well, the definition of the word actually is bridge to doom. But we were looking for a name and couldn't figure it out. We had a lot of them on the table, Monks of Intoxication and Brothers of Inebriation. They were all thrown out there. There was some I can't mention on the radio. But we came up with the idea. God spoke to us.
And it speaks to us all.
Yes, Lord. We should brew more.
It's funny because they can't hear me, but you guys can.
Okay. All right. Well,
the voice of God speaketh again.
So anyway, these voices in my head,
right?
not very often.
Right.
So we came up with the idea of Brigadoon, and the story of Brigadoon is two Americans go to Scotland to hunt.
Okay, so
Roger Hammerstein,
right? The 1947
exactly
production of a play that it's two New Yorkers.
They go to hunt in Scotland.
Serendipitously, lost in the Scottish Highlands, fall into this town.
They find a village, and one of the guys falls in love with a young lady, which
Fiona.
And the problem is that the village is hidden by witches by God, by the priest, and deal with God. And the deal is, once you're there, you can't leave. So the American can't really commit to living there forever after being in this world for one day. I mean, lust is great, but love is a little different. And he goes back to America. And then he's heart-stroking. He just can't believe it. He just has to go back. And his friends say, well, she won't be there. He goes, I know, but I'll be close to where she was, or will be in 100 years.
Aww.
So he goes back to Scotland and is looking down the valley, and the town starts to reappear. And the old man who runs the town's on the hill, on the bridge, and he runs down to it. He says, I thought you only came back one every 100 years. He goes, aye, lad, but we always come back for love, true love. So for us, the idea of Renaissance Festival, we started out there. We had no idea whether it would be a hit or trash. So the deal was, as long as you love our beer, we'll come back every year. And if the love gets strong enough, we'll stay. Well, now the love's getting strong enough, and we're going to stay.
Now the love's so strong, you have to do that, and then even expand into a standalone.
Yeah, we can't meet demand, so that was our problem.
Staying all year round now.
So the plan was always to go into the Renaissance Festival, at least when you came up with the name, because that name seems to fit so well.
Yeah,
I can't think of a better name for a brewery in a
No
Renaissance
kidding.
Festival. Okay, all the townspeople wear 18th century garb. These people are from New York. I mean, you're in the Renaissance Festival, you fall in love with it, and then unrequited love tries to bring you back. It's,
We already had a booth at the Renaissance Festival. We sold candy. Piece of candy. The kids made little deals out of it, and then they sold
So
it.
you started with candy.
Yeah, we started with candy and worked our way to liquor.
Candy for adults now.
Started with the
quicker.
kids. You got the kids to bring the adults to the booth, and then you started serving beer.
Hey, liquor's quicker.
That is smart, sir.
That's a sharp guy.
Well, it was easier that way. And if you don't, just sell anything, I got beer to drink. Whereas the candy, I only eat so much candy, and then I'm just fat.
So there's no other breweries and other festivals, like other.
There is one other brewery out on Renaissance Festival grounds in Pennsylvania, but they do not brew in period equipment. They brew with modern equipment and just have a back door to the festival. So we're the only ones in the United States. To my knowledge, we're the only ones in the world doing it on a continual basis and actually serving back to the public. A lot of places do little demos and little stuff, but we're the only ones actually just making the beer with period equipment.
And for the millions of people listening, I mean, that just probably went over their head. Period equipment.
That's a good segue into what I need to dig into about.
We can't leave it alone. We got to dig deeper into that because that is kind of the cool scenario. And we got. Yeah, we have the
God has come in and moved things around.
Yeah, just bring it on closer to me.
Low
It's fine.
camera.
He wasn't talking about the one can.
Don't mind me. It's just your mother.
That was the Houston radio legend Adam Smasher with the assist.
So,
Period
equipment. Now, so as a modern brewer, we set certain guidelines for ourselves of things that have to happen, right? We set things in a timeline of things that have to happen, right? Things that we believe, and there's a lot of myths. If you brew long enough, you start to debunk almost every myth that everybody's told you, except for the ones that are true, not to contaminate your beer. Everything else seems to kind of fall to the wayside on a lot of hard-earned lessons, but. I mean, there's a lot of questions about how y'all do a lot of stuff that I have for you.
Historically accurate brewing is what we're talking about right now. Historically accurate brewing. So, what's that mean?
So, it's the same thing, equipment, just a little different.
Okay,
we've got a copper kettle.
Let's start with the hot liquor tank. Let's start at the beginning.
Well, we have a copper kettle.
Okay.
And that's our hot liquor tank and our boil kettle.
So you heat water and transfer it somewhere?
We heat water, and then we've got a device. We attach a rack and literally lift the entire kettle and dump it over.
Yeah, so
it's like a giant pot loader.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's impressive. It's dangerous too.
So Scottish,
no pumps. No pumps.
So Scottish breweries, what they used to do is they were multi-level.
Sure.
Right, so and they would gravity pour. So
absolutely.
Since we're only single level, what we ended up doing is he built a
lot of them were on hills, so that
natural. That's right.
So essentially, he built a stand. So we go from essentially like waist high to the floor, and we heat in the copper kettle and pour into the mash tun.
Do you use
and
a
then
thumb
use the
trick
copper kettle back again.
Sure. Okay.
Cool.
So you're using
back again
the weight and the leverage of the sucking capability when water goes below it.
No, we just dump it.
Straight up
we just straight up
pour it.
It is a very dangerous, hostile action.
Yeah, in fact, I got
oh no, it is seriously. We're going to dump 20 gallons.
last year that I caught a
but 2 years before
2 years ago.
How large is the quantity of boiling?
20 gallons.
Yeah.
Dead gum. Nice.
That's 160 pounds, by the way.
Yes. So, and that's
Boiling.
lifted by humans?
Yes.
Yeah.
These are fucking crazy.
we are. We lost our mind a long time ago.
Fucking crazy.
It's very unique. We have a pivot point, and we put a piece of wood like a ladder.
Using a lever and a ladder.
And we use a giant
strap.
belt to strap it on there, and we use science. It's a new term in the Renaissance period.
Science seems to be a term not used by some breweries these days. So I think science is good on every level.
Then we pour it, and there's about 30 seconds of absolute terror.
Why is it?
Well, it can go horribly wrong. It splashes. It's boiling water.
Man, that's a good beer name. Absolute.
Yeah, that's about 30 seconds of absolute terror.
Think about that. Yeah, think about that. Hold on, absoluteterror.com. It's available.
So we'll pour that over, and literally, if you're not careful, you can burn yourself seriously.
Then immediately start stirring.
We will pour
in
in the mash tun, then add our grain to it.
Oh, and add your grain to it,
which we hand mill.
Sure.
And then we.
Oh my God, you hand mill.
Hand mill.
Okay, hold on. So I
can't afford a horse or a water gallon.
Horse and
I can't.
20 gallons of water. So let's see. That's about 60 pounds of grain.
It can be.
On an Irish,
It can be.
RIS, probably 75.
Yeah, it depends on the brew.
On the brew.
Yeah. But a Pilsner be around 40, 45.
Well, we don't do a Pilsner.
Well, a lighter beer.
Because Scotland would not do a Pilsner. It would be inaccurate. Trying to trick me, aren't you?
Would Scotland do a Russian Imperial Stout?
No.
Once they found out about it, they would.
We cheat, mate. We cheat.
Selective cheating. Yeah,
well, we get
The Vikings might have brought that over at some point, right?
right. Viking brew would have been made out of honey, though, and it would have been a mead, probably.
But both of our historic beers, our English and our Scottish, are both historically accurate. So those are lighter bodied, looking at 4% alcohol beer. So the grain bill is a lot less than that.
Right, but it's the Scotland's version of a Pilsner, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's just
some kind of session, lighter beer.
Lighter beer. And 60 shillings is what we do up there.
Yeah, 60 shilling. It's like just a table beer.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean,
by the time we show up, we ride a bus up to Renfest. So by the time we show up, we've drank so much jungle juice that there's no way I'm going to be drinking something that doesn't have 8 or 9% alcohol.
No, we got cycles. We have a little road that we take the same sequence all around, and we hit Brigadoon. Timely every hour. We try to hit it as often as we can. And
I run sorties. I go in, I turn to the left, I get my first one, I find where the group goes. Then wherever they go, I'll be like, where y'all going? I'll be right back. Boom, boom.
Yeah, so we've got 2 or 3 big beers. We've got the Imperial Stout, and we've got the Green Ogre, which is our Imperial IPA.
Yeah.
And then we've got a Dragon, which we don't make a lot of Dragon, but it's also a pretty big beer. It's an old ale, I guess.
It's an old ale.
Yeah.
It's like 9.9.
Yes, I've had the old ale. Yeah. But there's no way I'm gonna go anywhere less than an old ale or like a. By the time I get, it's just my taste buds are washed out.
Black Plague's our best seller. We will do usually about 20 barrels.
I can understand why. That was I'm a Russian Imperial Stout. I love that. I mean, if you're gonna break my heart, it's gonna be with the Russian Imperial Stout for sure.
And that was by accident that we started doing that one.
I think we have a Russian Imperial Stout string going on that we've had in the last 4 or 5 or 6 shows, maybe almost every show.
We put Baltica against quite a few other Russian Imperials, and it's close. I mean, everybody has their style of doing a Russian Imperial, but I mean, when they're done right, man. And
we tried to do ours with the original. A lot of research put into that. What the original Russian Imperial Stout would have been. And that's how we came up with it.
What impresses me is the equipment that y'all are doing it on. I mean, I know so many homebrewers that can brew a Russian Imperial Stout, however imperfect it might be in small places.
Right.
Y'all's, however, I haven't detected any flaws in y'all's.
I mean, it happens just like anybody else.
No. We've had some bad batches.
Actually, I think any flaws that y'all would pick up would be in the natural brewing process and are part of the style of the beer. So I've never tasted anything that wasn't part of the beer myself.
So we brew 2 ways at the Renaissance. Yeah. Historically up front on the copper kettle oak mash tun. And in back, we got a 2-barrel stainless steel system, direct fire, which is still... the Renaissance Festival is by art, by touch and feel.
Yeah.
It's not science up there. We play science, but it's
even
not.
on the stainless system, it's hard to.
I heard it best. The guy said, "I play a scientist on TV."
Yeah. It's hard to maintain keep exact temperatures and exact measurements on a direct fire, especially the 3-vessel direct fire we have up there.
Absolutely,
it's just near impossible to get dead on. Our electric system, the new place we have an electric system, and it's perfect.
Yeah, well, but you say that. We're having problems tweaking in because we're used to brewing by art and touch and feel, and now we have to make it science. And that's not easy.
I could maybe help you all with that with the the refining, because I built the system that
master electrician and
we ran on.
So
fine tuning it's still a touch and feel operation.
It's getting the beer where we want it.
Yeah.
So it's the same flavor we had up there. That's been our deal. And our main problem's been water.
Yeah, our water volume.
How much water?
So our new system.
My God, it's water. When we moved, oh my God, it's like.
So
okay, back up.
So our new brew system is just as unique as it is as the old school one is. So we're using a system by Colorado Brewing Systems. I mean, they're not sponsoring us or anything, but that's who we bought it from. And they It's a
3-vessel.
No, it's very unique.
It's real unique.
Really
What
unique.
it actually
got some
is
pictures of it on
is
my
it's
phone,
it's
so.
2 different brew houses next to each other that are 1.5 barrels each, and it does like a